Hello, everyone, and welcome into another episode of Sports Betting by Dummies. I am your host, Patty Parlays, and joining me as always, the voice of God, the Green Goblin himself, Diz. Diz, welcome in, buddy.
Hey, thanks, Patty. Juice for another pod. Juice for some Australian Open tennis matchups coming up this weekend. You better believe I got some action on that. Excited to be on as always with you. Got some ground to cover in the competition.
You're not as far down as you think you are, but we'll hit that when we get there. And
Let's
then
go.
joining us for the very first time, he kind of joined us last episode, but now you get to see his beautiful face on camera, his beautiful voice on an actual microphone, and a wonderful Vancouver Grizzlies jersey. Tyler, welcome into the pod.
It's just so good to be here, guys. I'm sorry, I'm kidding.
Hey, no, it's really nice to be here. First time caller, long time listener.
Nice. Yep.
It's good to be here with you.
I thought
Good to
Connor was
see.
back on for a second.
I try my best. Go Birds.
Hey, for the record, if Connor ever somehow comes back and is available, we are not saying that he is not welcome. Just because Tyler's here doesn't mean that Connor can't
love
be
Connor.
here. They're not, they can be together.
Say I'm a Connor stan.
Yeah,
Connor and I have never been seen in a room at the same time. I'm just putting that out there. We could be the same person.
That is fair. We do hear that quite a bit. That take quite a bit. All right, gents, let's get into the episode. So, I texted Diz about this yesterday because I believe the decision was made yesterday. Is that correct, Diz?
Yeah, for sure.
So they did the baseball Hall of Fame inductions for the year, and with baseball, everyone has like a limited number of attempts or tries to get into the Hall of Fame, and there was a few notable names that didn't make it in, but the very obviously notable one that didn't make it in and now will never get in unless they change some rules or make some sort of exception is Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds, if whether you know baseball or you don't know baseball, pretty much everyone knows who Barry Bonds is. Tyler, you don't consider yourself much of a baseball fan, but you know who Barry Bonds is.
Right. I do not know much about baseball, but I do know he is basically the Nancy Reagan of baseball.
It's a good pull. And in case you didn't hear, Barry Bonds did not make it into the Hall of Fame, so he's not in the Hall of Fame. And I think I will go to Diz first just to see. I'm pretty sure I know what his reaction is going to be, but I'm just curious as to what your reaction is and what your take is on Barry Bonds being in the Hall of Fame, Diz.
I think it's ridiculous that he's not in the Hall of Fame, and I'm sure that's where you were as well, Patty. We're not going to disagree on this, right?
No, I absolutely agree with you, and I figured so. But in case the off chance that we were in disagreement, I wanted to give you the chance to go first. But yes, it is ridiculous. But what's your take or reasoning by why he should be in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. Like, he used PADs, and steroids definitely helped his power hitting. But even before steroids, Barry Bonds was probably the best player in baseball at his time. And you could argue he's the greatest baseball player ever. I'm not going to go that far. And, like, I don't follow baseball very much to say that. But if you make a list of the greatest of all time, he's certainly up there with, like, Babe Ruth and whoever else you want to say. He's definitely considered one of the greatest all time. And there was a stat I saw. I think Big Cat tweeted it. 40% between 2001 and 2004, which some say was Barry Bonds' peak, and I think it should be his peak because that was before the PEDs or whatever, way before the PEDs. From 2001 to 2004, 39% of the at bats he either hit a home run or got walked. And then in 95% of his games in that 3-year span, he got on base at least once in all those games, which is insane. That's just insane stats. Those will never be beaten. It's insane that he's not in. And I think it just kind of shows, like, baseball, like, if you're a good guy, you're going to get in. I mean, David Ortiz got in, which I like David Ortiz. I think he's a Hall of Famer. I don't think maybe he deserved it this quickly. But David Ortiz tested positive for PEDs.
Correct.
So, like, I'm a little shook on how Big Papi got in over and before Barry Bonds.
So I agree. I mean, David Ortiz, I think, deserves to be in, and that's good for him. And I think if he wouldn't have gotten in this time, he would have gotten in sometime over the next couple of years.
I agree.
But this isn't, we're not looking for people with high moral values, right? This is the Hall of Fame, the people that excelled in the sport and are, faces for the sport, if you will. Barry Bonds has the all-time record for home runs. Is there an asterisk next to his name on the record books? No, there's not. If you are going to have him be the all-time leader of home runs, he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Now,
absolutely. I don't know if you wanted me to go in or if you're still going off.
I mean that's just, it's ridiculous that he's not in. Okay, what are we trying to do? Scrub him from the record books, from history, from what he did? No, he was there. He happened. Sure, he took PEDs. Sure, he cheated. He did steroids, whatever. But he is the all-time leader in home runs. You cannot separate that fact from like what happened. Like people still think like, I don't know, O.J. Simpson, right? Fantastic athlete.
He kind of killed people.
Yeah, he did.
I don't know. We shouldn't.
Allegedly.
We shouldn't compare. I think we cut this analogy right about here.
But here's a better one, Diz. Do you think that Pete Rose deserves to be in the Hall of Fame?
I do. And well, okay, that's a tricky one too, because Pete Rose is just an asshole and isn't helping his cause and shits on the Hall of Fame committee every single year. So like Pete Rose is self-inflictedly not in the Hall of Fame. I think he should be.
Well, Pete Rose's chances were already up by the time he started talking shit on the Hall of Fame.
What?
In baseball, you have like 5 years after you retire to possibly get inducted into Hall of Fame. After that, you're done. And so that's part of this argument is Barry Bonds is no longer up for the Hall of Fame. And it's...
You're telling me he can't get in anymore?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Oh, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Wait.
Cancel
Now, can't they get in like, kind of like a heritage player type thing, like the older? Because don't you see like old time players get in nowadays?
Not in the Baseball Hall of Fame, no.
Not in the baseball?
No. And that's what makes this even more
His
ridiculous.
Fifth ballot? This was his fifth ballot, and he's just permanently not in the Hall of Fame?
Exactly, yes.
I didn't even know that shit. I thought
Yeah.
we were just going to have this debate again next year. That's insane.
No, and that's what's stupid about this. And I agree. I think Pete Rose deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Pete Rose did something illegal. He got kicked out of baseball for it. But you can't deny the fact that Pete Rose was great for baseball, and he was a outstanding baseball player.
Well, the debate with Pete Rose is a little different because he did like the biggest no-no of all time.
Correct.
But it wasn't when he was playing. It was when he was coaching. Didn't affect his playing career at all, and he was a shitty coach anyway. So if he should get in the Hall of Fame for his playing career, not for his coaching. And that's when he did the illegal gambling and cheating and shit like that. So like Pete Rose, I think is entirely different. And Pete Rose is just kind of an asshole. And I'm a Reds fan, and I still think Pete Rose is an asshole. But he still should get in. I didn't even comprehend that Barry Bonds will not get in ever. That's stupid. Baseball's dumb. Baseball is not fun. The season's too long. The commissioner's an asshole who doesn't care about the sport. Are we canceling baseball?
Don't take this out on baseball, okay? It is not baseball's fault that Barry Bonds is not in the Hall of Fame.
Whose fault is it?
Whoever votes on the Hall of Fame, it's their fault.
Who votes on the Hall of Fame, Pat?
I don't know.
Sports
Do you know?
writers, journalists.
Is it only writers or is it people in baseball?
I don't think anyone that's in baseball has any say.
Then why the fuck are they the people voting? That's so dumb.
We're getting to something here, boys. I mean, we're getting to the root.
Change the voting.
Well, do you just leave that whole era out? Because, I mean, isn't that widely known as the steroid era?
It is. It absolutely is. I mean,
How the fuck are you going to let Poppy get in? That blows my mind.
Roger Clemens also in his last year did not make it in because there was a little while there where he was rumored to be taking steroids. Is is Mark McGuire in the Hall of Fame? Diz?
I don't think so.
Sammy Sosa.
Sammy Sosa's not.
So I mean this. I mean we can't. These are people we grew up with as baseball fans.
People that
That's
saved baseball.
Yeah, people wanted to see
honestly,
home runs.
yeah. I hate to be this guy. Bring PEDs back. Yeah.
Bring back PEDs and bring back sticky tack, right, Diz?
Dude,
The
sticky
spider
tack
tack?
was electric. Spider tack, yeah.
Spider
good call,
tack,
Tyler.
yeah.
That's upsetting. I didn't know he could never get in now going for. So Pete Rose is just done. Pete Rose is done.
Pete Rose has
Sammy
been done
Sosa's
for
done.
years.
Mark McGuire's done.
The all-time leader in home runs in Major League Baseball history will never make it into the Hall of Fame.
And the all-time leader in hits.
Yeah. What are we talking about?
That's so dumb. Call it off.
And I agree with you. The baseball commissioner is a stooge and a sellout, and he needs to go too. But
he literally called when the Astros cheating thing came out, and his like excuse for not taking the championship away, which that's an argument for another time. I don't really know where I stand on that, but he was like, it's just a piece of metal. He called the trophy like just a piece of metal. It's like, you're the leader of the baseball. Like, you're the leader of baseball. What are we doing?
it starts top down, right, Diz?
I don't know if the fucking writers are the ones voting for the Hall of Fame. Is that how it works in every other sport?
Just about.
So the writers, journalists vote for who gets in the Hall of Fame.
I know they
but it's
vote
only
for
fucked
MVP
in
in the
baseball.
NFL.
That's what they said on Part of My Take, that it's the writers that vote for this.
So do I need to look into it. Like, do the writers vote for the NFL and the writers vote for the NBA?
Right. The writers vote for the NFL MVP.
I know that, yeah. Because we've heard the hub controversy.
Yeah, that's why they're saying Aaron Rodgers may never win a MVP ever again, because the writers won't vote for him because they claim that he lied to them.
Because he was immunized.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of things in sports that should be fixed, and we are here to correct all of them.
It's why we have this podcast.
That's exactly it. Bring Barry Bonds into the Hall of Fame.
Free Barry Bonds.
Free
Let's
Barry
go.
Bonds. That might be the title of the episode, honestly. Free Barry
Put it-
Bonds.
Put it on a t-shirt.
That's
Or-
also not a terrible
or-
idea either.
Well, so I guess this is my last take. Is I think Major League Baseball's Hall of Fame used to be the best. Like, very recently, like, used to be the best because so few people were in it. You know, like NBA Hall of
Everyone
Fame.
gets in.
Yeah.
Everyone gets in, so it's not as like it's not the same. It's
Yeah.
almost like college. Like, if it's a school that has a high rejection percentage, like it's a prestigious college. Like, I think the MLB Hall of Fame used to be like the most prestigious Hall of Fame because you had to be the best of the best to get in.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like, is it like too prestigious? And is it more about being a good person?
So I like that baseball does that. I don't mind putting a limit on the number of times you can be up for like election into the Hall of Fame, but you can't.
Literally the best player ever, possibly. Like, he's in the discussion for best player ever, and he's not in your Hall of Fame.
Correct, and
Like, credibility's gone. See?
Right. No, absolutely. Absolutely. We need to change who gets to vote on these things or why these happen. And if you're going to be so prestigious and limit people's terms, then we need to have people that actually matter making these decisions and doing stuff like that other than just writers. Because a writer can be pissed off because they went to a, post-game press conference and he told them to F off or something, and now they don't like him forever and will never forget that.
I'm telling the writers to fuck off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Make it known.
Well, and from what I heard, like I said, from a podcast, I don't know much about baseball, is baseball's different on their Hall of Fame where it's not just the majority to get in, it is a 75%
It's a lot.
vote.
Yes.
Yeah. So from what they were saying is Bonds had the majority vote, but he did not have the 75% vote.
Yeah. So even more of like kind of a of like a harder way to get in, right? Like, I understand you're wanting to make it tough to get in and you want to make it prestigious, but I mean, come on. What are we talking about?
I may do like a deep dive in on this shit. Like, who are the writers? Who voted yes? Who voted no? I'm assuming it's anonymous.
I don't believe so.
I don't know if you can see like specifically who voted yes or who voted no. I know you can definitely figure out like percentage of votes, but I don't know. I don't know how it all works. If you want to take a deep dive, Diz, by all means, go right ahead.
I mean, I'm sure there's.
I just might. I didn't
Oh,
realize he couldn't be in it going forward.
Yeah.
I thought Pete Rose was different because he was like banned from baseball. Like, he hasn't been up for the Hall of Fame 5 times, has he? He's just banned from baseball.
I don't know about Pete Rose. I can't. I would assume that he is not able to be put in, but I don't know.
That's crazy.
Free Pete Rose and free Barry Bonds. Is that what we're going for?
Honestly, maybe.
But Barry Bonds definitely.
Yes, 100%. Barry Bonds deserves to be in. If Pete Rose got banned from baseball, that's maybe a little bit of a tougher argument to have him in the Hall of Fame. Barry Bonds played his whole career and didn't get like kicked out, so
He just had to go up in hat size a few times.
Oh, that's the humor we need right there. All right, boys. Let's get into the Dumbest Dummy Competition. Review our bets for Monday. I went 1-3. Goga missed it by 1 point to make it. I could have had a positive night, but Goga missed it by a point, so that'll happen. Diz, how did you do on Monday?
1-1. The Ducks overhit, which benefited our best bets as a team as well, which is hype. But my tennis parlay did not hit. Tsitsipas pulled the upset, but Monfils unfortunately could not. So that was a tough one. But apparently, I think I may be coming back in this competition by not losing as bad as Patty is.
That is correct. So I am down 3.48 units, and Diz is down 7.31 units.
Let's go. That's doable.
For tonight, Diz, I have only 2 bets. The first one.
I need you to lose. I need you to keep doing like 20 bet dumbest dummy so I can win by you losing.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware. But so for tonight, I got TNT Thursday as one of my dumbest dummy bets. There wasn't enough juice to include it in the Hail Mary parlay section, so I'm including it in my competition bets section. Again, TNT Thursday if you are on FanDuel. And what's up, Ty? He finally joined. He was only like 15 minutes late, but Ty is in the chat, so shout out Ty.
What's up, TY? I don't know why you had to blast my dog for joining the show.
Because he was in the chat. We got to give our boys shout outs in the chat.
Kind of shit on him, though.
Nether. Yeah, you did
geez.
call him out a bit.
TY, please stay. I don't appreciate the hostility from Patty there. Please stay and listen along.
But anyways,
people are going to be afraid to join the chat now, Pat.
Well, maybe. If someone was looking to make a quick buck of a bet, what would you recommend? That's from our boy TY. Well, TY, you came in at the right time because we are going through our Dumbest Dummy Competition bets. TNT Thursday. If you have FanDuel, you go into the promo section, opt in to the TNT Thursday. $10, win or lose, you get your money back. Actually, it might be if you just lose, but still. You put $10 on, it's risk-free. And so this one tonight is $10 to win $61.84 or plus 518 odds if you're looking at it that way. It's in the Lakers 76ers game. I'm going LeBron over 28.5 points, Embiid over 33.5 points, and Russell Westbrook under 7.5 assists. And then my final competition bet, my only other one, I'm going D'Angelo Russell under 3.5 rebounds at minus 154. He has hit this in 2 of his last 10. Golden State ranks 3rd in rebounds allowed, and he hasn't hit this line in the 2 games against them this season. Diz, what do you have for competition bets for tonight?
All right, Patty, I got 3, and they're all at plus value.
Ooh.
I have 2 3x2 boosts. I love the Bleacher Report 3x2 boosts on FanDuel. I got Sixers Lakers at plus 150. I need 2 or more 3-pointers in the first 3 minutes. And then I have another one on the Timberwolves-Warriors game, which I thought was a lot because the Warriors shoot more threes than anybody. Plus 100 on that one. And then I have an Australian Open men's semifinal parlay.
Ooh.
I got Nadal over Berrettini, and then Tsitsipas to upset Medvedev. I got those two in a parlay at plus 355 odds. Now,
Oof.
I will say, Tsitsipas is a plus 215 dog. Okay, I need to make that known for my distance. I want you guys to be cautious and don't just jump on everything I'm saying. This Tsitsipas Medvedev match, there's a little bit of a rivalry here. Okay. And I looked into it a little bit more. I was like, I wonder if there's some juiciness. I wonder if there's like a good reason for the rivalry. No, they're just immature tennis players who hate each other and just talk shit about each other and like unfollow each other on social media. I really wish it was a better story, but they hate each other. They've played each other 8 times. Okay. Medvedev has won 6 of the 8, but he won the first 5. So Tsitsipas has taken 2 of the last 3. Medvedev beat him last year in the Australian Open semifinal. So you're thinking, Dizz, why would you make that mistake again? Why would you bet Tsitsipas to beat him this Australian Open semifinal? Well, the answer is last Australian Open semifinal, Tsitsipas beat Rafael Nadal in the quarters in a 5-set heater, absolute heater. He was tired, and then Medvedev came off an easy straight-set victory off a lesser opponent. Very easy dub, and Medvedev beat him in straight sets. This time, it's the exact opposite. Tsitsipas upset Jannik Sinner in a 3-set straight-set match. I called it. Medvedev had a 5-set win, but he's a little tired as well. I think Tsitsipas is going to pull this out. I hope it's a good match, and I hope this kind of builds on the rivalry a little bit because these are 2 of tennis's newer stars, so I'm hoping this could be a great match going forward. I know that probably was confusing as hell, and I went in a million different directions, but Tsitsipas over Medvedev and Nadal over Berrettini, that's at plus 355. Let me catch my breath a little bit, Patty.
All right, you got it. TY said D'Angelo Vickers over under 1 missed dunk. I think I'm taking the over on that one.
Might put a max under in on him. I heard he's injury prone. He may have one, get in there, take that one dunk attempt, and
Donezo. I like it. All right, so group best bets. As a group, we are now up 0.75 units in the month of January because we had a perfect Monday as a group. So we had a really, really good Monday. Dizz, anything strike your fancy for tonight?
Something does strike my fancy tonight, Pat.
Oh, okay. Let's hear it.
I love Minnesota plus 6.5 against Ohio State. They are at home.
Oh.
We stick to the script in the Big Ten. It is really hard to win on the road in the Big Ten, and even if you do, it's hard to cover as a favorite. So I'm liking Minnesota plus 6.5. What do you think?
Sounds good to me. We know how it is with Big Ten basketball. It's just tough on the road.
6.5 is a lot.
I'll be honest. I thought you were going to say the Minnesota Timberwolves plus 6.5 because they happen to be plus 6.5 at Golden State tonight, and I really like that pick.
Go Minnesota tonight.
Yes.
Double 6.5s.
I mean, we could be riding Minnesota real hard. I kind of like it.
So let's think about this, Patty. We have probably, including tonight, if we do 3 and 3, we have 6 best bets left in the month of January.
I believe Monday is technically January 31st.
Oh, that's huge. Okay, dope.
But
I was just gonna say our one of our New Year's gambling resolutions was to be positive every month, and we're cutting it close.
We are flirting with it. That is for sure. But,
well, let's dominate tonight, and then we'll reassess tomorrow.
Yep. So Dizz, for final best bet of the night, I have a suggestion, and I'm curious as to how you feel about it.
Okay.
How do you feel about your Florida Panthers in regulation versus the Golden Knights?
I was going to say over 7 in this game. I know 7 is a lot of goals, but these are 2 high-powered offenses. What is it in regulation? Does it fall within our window? I thought it was like minus 200 or something.
It is minus 105 in regulation.
Just puck line?
No. So first off, you mess this up all the time. Puck line would be -1.5. Money
Oh, my
line.
bad. Money line. My bad.
Money line is they just have to win. Doesn't matter when it happens. And then in regulation is them winning without having to go into overtime. So they just win straight up in the first 3 periods. So I'm saying Florida Panthers in regulation. But if you'd rather
At
take
-105.
or would you rather take them over 7 at -106?
At minus what?
-106 for the over 7.
Same value. Is Knight in goal or is Bobrovsky?
Good question. Let me check that real quick. Also, Tyler's not wearing hockey pads. He's doubling as a YouTube viewer and chatter, as well as providing wonderful insight in all things.
I'm engaging the chat.
Yeah. We need that too. We definitely need that too. Let's see. Ooh, Dizz. Spencer Knight is in net. I thought it was Bob earlier when I looked at that. I think we go over 7 with Spencer Knight.
Yeah, let's take the over. Take the over.
All right. So, to recap, we have the Minnesota Golden Gophers in college basketball +6.5 at home versus Ohio State. We have the Minnesota Timberwolves +6.5 on the road at Golden State. And then we have the Golden Knights traveling to the Florida Panthers over 7. I'm going to go ahead and put those in right now. And while we do that, Dizz, do you want to give us your Dizz's degenerate pick of the night?
Patty, I would love to. And I need to shout out Tyler for suggesting this segment. Going to be a new thing, whether we do it every episode or once a week. I haven't decided. But it's simply going to be Dizz's degenerate pick. And it's basically going to be me taking a shot at a sport or an event that I know nothing about. Now, I am a tennis lover. I'm a stan of the sport, and I do love gambling on tennis. But this year, I have not followed women tennis at all. So I'm going to take the American Danielle Collins at +330 to shock the world and beat the native Australian Ashley Barty in the Australian Open women's final. No reason at all. I'm rooting for America here. Would love an upset. Love the +330 value in a championship matchup. No matter who you are, if you make it to the final, you can play. Anyone can win. Danielle Collins +330. That is the very first, the inaugural Diz's degenerate pick of the night.
I love it. I locked it in. I made sure to make that pick.
Hell yeah. You probably shouldn't have, but fuck it.
I also know nothing about women's tennis, but I fully back that pick too.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go, boys. Bet together, win together.
And then I have to give Ty's not wearing pants at all, he said in the chat. So we're really feeling it now. Tyler's engaged in that chat just like we needed him to.
Hey, that's why our camera's cut off here, TY. We're not doing it either.
That's why you can only see our faces. But for the record, I have to give Tyler here a shout out because he kind of let me kind of help lead me to a degenerate pick that hit last night. The Charlotte Hornets winning by more than 31 points against our Indiana Pacers. We were kind of going back and forth, and I was like, I don't know how Charlotte's only favored by like 2 points against the Pacers. You know, last game when they played each other at Indianapolis, the Pacers hit, I believe it was 7 or 8 more threes than the Hornets did. And now last night they were without Turner, Sabonis, and Brogdon. And so Tyler's like, so you're telling me that they're going to get killed. They're going to get smacked around. And I'm like, yeah, actually I am. That's exactly what I'm saying. And so I went ahead and put that bet in, and I got $1 into $51. So thank you, Tyler, for that insight.
How much did they win by? Was it close?
They won by 32 points.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit. Were you watching that late?
I was not.
I was in
What the
attendance
fuck
for
are
that
we
one.
doing?
I had
It was,
Tyler in
number
It was
person.
one
electric.
I had Tyler in person. I knew we were good.
And
Bet
I
on
did
shit
Pat a
you're gonna
solid.
watch. How
I-
electric would that fourth quarter have been if I would have known that shit? You sent me a screenshot after the fact. You probably weren't even watching, which you just said you weren't. What are we doing?
I kept an eye on it. I didn't think it was going to happen. And then when I got the final update on my phone that said the Pacers lost by 32 points, that's when I just went and checked the FanDuel account. Also, I don't know that game
Tell
was
people
on
not
TV.
to do that.
I mean, Bally Sports.
I don't have Valley Sports, so I definitely couldn't have seen
No free ads, boo.
it.
But no, I have a conspiracy theory on this game, Patrick.
Oh, okay.
Now, this is deep dive here back into our
Oh.
childhood. All right. So, I believe we're all familiar with the show, The Fairly Odd Parents, right?
Yes.
Of course.
LaMelo Ball came out in the first quarter with one green shoe and one pink shoe.
Oh.
In the second quarter, he came out in some gray shoes. I think LaMelo Ball has wished all this skill and wealth on his family into existence through the use of fairy godparents. I'd just like to put that conspiracy out there.
Hey,
I was expecting something like legit.
What do you mean? It was legit. He's not joking. This is real stuff.
Hey, do you think there's trademark on the Shiny Teeth song? Can we make that the outro of the pod?
Oh, I do have the shiny teeth in the head. I'll just do my own rendition at the end of this one.
He's gonna be Chip Skylark for us.
That song's so gas.
It is a banger.
It is a good one.
I'm sorry I derailed the whole conversation there, but
No, it's fine.
back.
We are all for the weird one-offs. We are not a podcast that shies away from just getting totally derailed from any conversation that we are having.
I mean,
So.
oh wow. TY says he knows nothing about women, so we are all even. Good for you, TY. I'm proud.
All right, boys, it's time for the multi-sport Hail Mary parlay of the day. Tyler probably knows what the value of this is because he has the episode notes up. So, Dizz, $1 to win, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on the ice, and we have 2 in the NBA tonight. So it's a 12-leg parlay. $1 to win.
1,100.
You're getting pretty good at this, Dizz. You're pretty close. It is $1,204.42. You're getting better at your guesses. You're starting to hone in on the values here.
Oh yeah, baby.
All right, in the NHL, I have the Rangers in regulation versus the Blue Jackets, the Penguins -1.5 versus the Kraken, Islanders moneyline versus the Kings, Lightning -1.5 versus the Devils, Panthers in regulation versus the Golden Knights, Hurricanes -1.5 versus the Senators, Ducks moneyline versus the Canadiens, Jets moneyline versus the Canucks, Blues moneyline versus the Flames, and the Predators moneyline versus the Oilers. And then in the NBA, I have Lakers +2.5 versus the 76ers, and Timberwolves +6 versus the Warriors. All right, gentlemen. Anything you boys need to get off your chest before we call it a day? Did we lose Dizz? Is Dizz in the dead spot?
I actually was in deep thought thinking about what my last take should be, but I really don't have anything. Hey, for Football Friday, are there any restrictions on the over/under favorite underdog? Can you have more, say 2 max for one game?
Hello?
There's only 2 games.
No, that's what I'm saying. Can I do like all 4 in one game? Just be like, I like the favorite here, but I like the underdog too.
I don't even know if we should do Football Friday, technically, Diz, right? There's 2 games. Let's just talk about it and see which side of it we would go on and just have a discussion about it instead of saying, okay, I'm going to take the over, I'm going to take the favorite. Because, I mean, you're not going to take the favorite and the over in a game and then take the under. And, like, you may not like an underdog. You might not like an under. You know, I think it just makes more sense just to discuss the game and say what side of the total and what side of the game we would bet on.
So you're telling me Football Friday's over and we didn't make a big deal about it?
I mean, what do you want to do? I mean, it is what it is. Football Friday will come back. It'll come back next year, but at this point in the season with 2 games left and we have 4 picks to make for 2 games, it doesn't really seem to make sense.
That's sad.
Well, hey, we have the Pro Bowl coming up. Tuesday. Could be juicy.
That's the real winner. That's when we need to really hone in on it.
Well, even though I said it was sad, tune in tomorrow for for AFC and NFC Championship breakdown from me
Yes.
and Patty and Tyler.
Rest in peace, Football Friday.
It's been a nice run, but it's not dead. It's gone, but not forgotten. It will be back. Thank you all for listening. We really appreciate it. Make sure you check us out on Twitter and Instagram at SportsBetByDumb. Also, make sure you go to our YouTube. Search in the YouTube search bar, Sports Betting by Dummies, filter by channel. We should be that first one on there. Look for the black and yellow logo. You cannot miss it. Thank you all for listening. We hope you have a profitable night, and we will see you all tomorrow.